Malolele, this is Pacific Waves from RNZ Pacific. I'm Suliana Mone. Coming up.
So in a way, when I say the words, I feel stronger because I feel that they are there with me.
Tongan language, a vital strand of the culture also.
I think it's so important at any Pacific Forum meeting that we have all our partners there.
Palau unhappy over the blocking of PIF partners, and a former teacher vies for a seat in Bougainville's parliament. It's Tongan Language Week in Aotearoa, and this year's theme looks at how the Tongan language is a vital strand of Tongan culture. Recently, law academic Dr. Suliana Mone had the opportunity to visit the University of Oxford, where she opened her presentation by speaking in Lea Whakatonga, or Tongan language. Dr. Mone's educational journey began at Queen Salote College in Tonga, where she excelled as Deputy Head Prefect and graduated as Dux. She achieved her most recent milestone this year by graduating with a doctorate in law from Waikato University. I spoke with Dr. Suliana Mone and began by asking her how she got the opportunity to visit Oxford.
Malolele, Susanna, thank you for having me on today. The opportunity came about because of connections with very brilliant senior women. Our head of research and my academic mentor at Auckland Law School is Professor Jodie Gardner, and she had introduced me to Professor Caroline Marshall, who is she's director for Centre of Small States at Queen Mary University in London at that law school. And so she invited me to co-author a chapter with her in this book that is going to be published, I think, through Oxford Law School. And I had drafted a chapter in that first meeting. That the presentation I made was on the chapter at Oxford Law School, and it was attended, I think I was probably the most junior person there. It was attended by some of the best legal minds around the world, some deans of law schools from all over the place, judges from some of the highest courts in the world in different areas. So yes, it was just through connections I'd made through some wonderful, brilliant women.
I read in another article where you spoke about opening your presentation in Tongan. I really love how you said it felt like I took a little bit of home with me. What was that like, speaking in your mother tongue at Oxford? What was going through your mind?
At first I thought maybe I shouldn't, because it felt almost like everybody had spoken in English, and I was wondering how the relevance of my language from such a small island, from such a junior academic, would be in that space. But then I thought about this was the Faculty of Law in Oxford, and I'm not sure if anyone as an academic had been there and had spoken in our language. And also because it gives me courage. I'm not the best public speaker. When I teach law classes at Auckland Law School, and whenever I do at the very beginning, I begin in Tongan. I begin my introduction in Tongan, because it is for various reasons, but most importantly, because when I speak in Tongan, the words that I speak express gratitude and respect, which I think are core things to who I am as a Tongan. And I express gratitude and respect to God and to everyone in the room. And it reminds me, the words that I speak are not words that I knew. These are words my father, my grandfather, and members of my family, and those that have come before me have spoken. So in a way, when I say the words, I feel stronger because I feel that they are there with me, and that it reminds me of how far I've come. You know, I come from a small village in one of the smallest islands in the Pacific, and I'm in a place like Oxford University. And it makes me grateful, and I take strength from it, and I take pride. And it's, I think, core to who I am as a person, that I am Tongan.
Staying connected to your culture grounds you, doesn't it?
Yes, it really does. It's easy to get lost. I say, when you go to, even at Auckland Law School, and then when you go to bigger platforms like somewhere like the Faculty of Law in Oxford, it's easy to feel lost. You know, it's easy to not kind of have a sense of who you are and what you're doing there, when everyone else seems so much smarter and so much more, unqualified, and you begin to doubt yourself, have a bit of imposter syndrome. So it kind of gives you a grounding. It kind of gives you, it's like the anchor that you feel, something constant and consistent, and something that I feel has never kind of let me down. No matter where I am, I'll always be Tongan, and I'll always have these words spoken by those before me, and I'll always find that there's something I can return to and kind of like use as a compass for myself.
What can other people learn from the Tongan culture?
The Tongan culture, I think the Tongan culture is a strength in collectivity and pride in yourself. The fact that Tonga wasn't colonized, I think, comes down a lot to strong leadership we've had, and our united, our sense of unity under a collective identity, the strength and unity that we have. And I think part of that unity is being able to speak a common language. We might not have, as Tongans, we're not all, there's no, I think, description of you can't give a definition of what it means to be Tongan, but there are some commonalities that bind us together, and those are in our values, and a lot of our values are expressed in our language, and that's something that I think language binds us as a collective, as a people, and also I think it keeps our culture and our cultural practices alive, and I think it adds strength to. I think Tonga's been very strong in resisting kind of a lot of outside influences. I think the beauty of Tonga is Tonga's been able to, I think, they're controversial debates. They're very different and conflicting ideas and opinions within the Tongan community. But the beauty of it all is that us as a collective, well, that's what we hope, that everyone's voice is taken into account, decides where Tonga goes. It's an internal kind of dialogue that will determine our pathway forward, as opposed to having things imposed on us, as has been done to a number of neighbouring Pacific islands.
Yeah. Speaking of internal debates, just shifting our focus here a bit, Suliana, you may have seen media reports on a bill that the Tongan Parliament recently passed, looking to grant the monarchy control of two key ministries, one of them being Foreign Affairs. What do you make of that?
I think it's very interesting, and as an academic, I have to be responsible for what I say. I haven't been able to read through the bill so far, and I will write on that, and I think the appropriate platform for me to express my opinion on that is through law journals, and I will write that. But again, what I can say about that is that it's interesting that it's a debate internally about Tonga. Tonga is deciding what democracy or monarchy is going to look like in our nation, and that's interesting to see that play out.
Palau's president says it's a missed opportunity to not have partners at the Pacific Islands Forum leaders meeting next month. It follows Solomon Islands blocking all external partners from attending the forum, which includes the United States, China and Taiwan. Caleb Fotheringham has more.
Palau's president, Suringa Whips Jr., says he respects Solomon Islands' position as host, but he's not happy with the decision.
I think it's so important at any Pacific Forum meeting that we have all our partners there. And it is a missed opportunity not to have our partners attending the forum meetings in the Solomon Islands. I think it's a missed opportunity for the Solomon Islands. But they are the host.
Solomon Islands Prime Minister Jeremiah Manele says it gives leaders space to focus on a review of how the forum engages with diplomatic partners. Opposition MP Peter Kiniloria Jr. says it's really about the government blocking Taiwan from entering the country.
The way I see it is definitely 100% to do with the China-Taiwan.
Mr. Kiniloria's big concern is there will still be bilateral meetings on the margins, which will be easy for countries with diplomatic missions in Solomon Islands like China and the US, but not so easy for Taiwan.
There might be delegations coming through that would have bilaterals and make a big deal out of it. The optics and the narratives that are going to be coming out of those, if they do happen, are out of the control of the Pacific Islands Forum architecture, which is another hit for regionalism.
Palau, Tuvalu and Marshall Islands are the remaining Pacific countries that have ties with Taiwan. The Guardian reports Tuvalu is now considering not attending the forum. President Whip says all will be welcome, including China at the Pacific Islands Forum next year, hosted in Palau.
These are forum events. They need to be treated as forum events. They're not Solomon Island events. They're not Palau events. They're forum events.
However, Whip says it's important for Pacific nations to work together despite differences.
Everybody has their own sovereignty, and they have their partners, and they have their reasons for what they do, and we respect that. What's most important is that we find ways to come together.
The Pacific Islands Leaders Forum starts in 3 weeks.
Elizabeth Palin is one of 5 women standing in the Bougainville North Women's Reserved seat. It had been held by Amanda Masono, who has chosen this time to contest the open atoll seat, once filled by her father. The autonomous Papua New Guinea region is holding a single-day poll on 4th September to elect a new 46-member House. A record 34 women are standing, including 14 in the 3 seats reserved for women. Former teacher Ms. Palin stood in 2020 and has wide political experience at the local level. She spoke with Don Wiseman.
I was a former chairlady in the local level government, community government, and I just resigned to contest the seat. I served in the community government and at the ward assembly system for 10 years. But prior to that, I was a teacher by profession.
Being in the local level government, is that a full-time activity, is it, for you?
Yes, it is. Yes.
And what does it involve?
It involves chairing the local level government at the community-based level and also taking care of the 5 wards within the respective community government that I was heading as the chair. And formerly in the first establishment of the first House of Assembly, I was the vice chair lady, and so as one of the ward members in the 5 wards under the urban council, urban community government. And I contested the 4th House, and then I came second. I came back to be with the community, and then I worked with the people, and I went into the second election. I contested, and I became the ward member and also lobbied for the chair position, and I became the chairperson.
So you want to be in the ABG. What is it you want to achieve there?
Being in the local level government, I've experienced a lot where we don't see the link. We don't really see that link from the top level of leadership down to the local level. We don't really feel it in some sense. And therefore, I decided that maybe I can be able to contest and get that leadership. And in experiencing my leadership at the ward level and community government level, I believe that I can be able to take that leadership and build that link from the top down to the ward assembly level, which includes the community government, and vice versa, from the community government up to the top. So this is what I experienced, and that's the main reason why I'm contesting the seat. And also, I believe in my leadership. I believe in my leadership because I have been with the local level government, and I believe I can perform at a much higher level as well.
Yes, well, you will have been campaigning now for weeks because it's such a long period of campaigning, isn't it? How are people reacting to you?
Oh, I've been receiving positive responses from the people, from the voters, in terms of the way I present my campaign strategy, my platform especially. I've so far received very positive response from the general public and especially the voters in the region. And from all the locations that I've conducted my campaign, it's been a positive response.
Yes, I wouldn't expect a politician to say anything else going into an election.
No, not at all.
Independence for Bougainville, it would seem, is very close. How important is it to you that it's sorted sooner rather than later?
Being a leader, a woman leader, and having gone through my people's experience in terms of fighting for their rights and for their independence, this coming independence and what we've been standing for as our political agenda is very, very crucial to me, so as the general population of Bougainville. And I cannot say no to that. I do understand there's a lot of work to do in terms of getting us prepared, in terms of demonstrating the indications to so forth that we are able to get independence. And we are independently ready. But based on the fights of our forefathers and our people and having lost the 20,000 lives, I stand for that. And I believe that such a person like me, a woman with a strong voice at the political scene, in the political scene and level, I can be able to work as a team with the other leaders of Bougainville to get that independence. But in having said that, it doesn't really mean that that's it. We're ready. As leaders on the ground and at the different levels of governance, we need to work. And we have this how many years that have been given within the time frame for us to work in order to show that we're able to be an independent sovereign state. And that's what I believe in.
That's Pacific Waves for today. For all episodes, head over to rnz.co.nz/Pacific. We're also on Spotify, Apple and iHeartRadio. For myself and the RNZ Pacific team, tō whā sui fua.